Dungeons and Dragons is super cool, but here are some D&D type things in no particular order that are a little less known but absolutely deserving of your time. Also, full disclosure before we dive in, this is an unsponsored video, so none of the people or things that I'm about to share with you have paid me or offered me money or anything like that. These are just other things that I personally listen to, watch, get involved in, and I really like them. So yeah, I hope you do too. First up, we got John Cohen's Tale of the Manticore podcast. I don't recall where I first stumbled upon this, but I know it was shortly after getting fed up with the oversaturation of silly D&D Let's Plays. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with those. I just really wanted something with a more dark and serious tone. Tale of the Manticore does this by combining the storycraft of a dark fantasy novel with the unpredictability of old school Dungeons and Dragons. John both narrates the story and plays the characters, and he's got quite an epic roster of voice actors. I've never seen anything quite like it. Tale of the Manticore is on Spotify, but John also has all of the episodes available here on YouTube, albeit with a criminally low number of subscribers. So maybe swing on over there and help him out. It's also low-key my dream to have him use Shadow Dark instead of AD&D, but yeah, I suppose we'll see. I also would like to make an honorable mention of Trevor Duvall's channel, Me, Myself, and Die. It's really fun and has the added benefit of using terrain, and as you know, I'm kind of a sucker for good visuals. Also, Trevor's like really funny. Anyways, both are deserving of your attention, especially if you got like a big road trip or something coming up. Next up, Discord. And no, not the chaos in the Curse of Strahd module's town of Vallaki. The app, the text app. I sometimes get asked why I don't have my own channel, and I don't have a good answer that doesn't sound like an excuse. So that might become a thing for me at some point, but I guess I'm just pretty active in 2 Discord channels already, so I don't really feel the need to go and create my own. Especially since both of these channels have created not only an incredible community, but also provide an endless stream of wisdom and resources surrounding the hobby. Sometimes like philosophy and like other non-tabletop RPG things, but it's mostly about the hobby. So go check out the Runehammer Discord and the Arcane Library Discord. Runehammer's Discord is now free to the public. It's a great place to engage with the Shield Wall and basically anything else that's Runehammer related. So ICRPG, Viking Death Squad, Hard Suit, Crown and Skull, all of these games. And the Arcane Library is essentially the exact same thing, but for Shadow Dark. I'm pretty active in both channels, so if you ever want to engage in conversation with me that isn't through YouTube comments, those are 2 great places to do it. Moving along, I actually think this is one of the more obscure ones, but Ben Milton over at Questing Beast has a monthly newsletter called The Gladysint, where he compiles news, articles, blog posts, and videos from the tabletop RPG community. It's mostly focused on OSR or OSR adjacent games, so if you're not super familiar, you might be a little confused. I'm just personally finding the non-5e space to be a bit more my preference these days. My favorite thing to do is to scroll through the newsletter, opening tabs of things I find interesting, and then reading or watching them throughout the month. Once again, definitely worth your time. Okay, shifting gears. Some of you might have noticed I don't post a lot of crafting videos anymore. That's mainly because of how much work it takes to record one for YouTube. Seriously, respect to all of the crafting channels out there, it's a lot of work. Especially because for me, I really like to have crafting be my sort of like personal creative time. And when there's a camera on it, like on my craft that I'm working on, it doesn't feel like I get to just let go and be my creative self. In that regard, I'm constantly thinking about what does my craft look like on the camera as opposed to just focusing on the craft itself. Now I know there's a ton, but these are just some of the few that inspired my own crafts, and they also tend to have a little bit lower of a follower count, so yeah, go check out OK Hobby Time, Dice Chatter, Sean Cownley, Berserker Works, and of course, Devs and Dice. Each of them has a really cool style. OK Hobby Time and Dice Chatter do a lot of high-end XPS foam crafting, while Sean Cownley? I don't know if it's Cownley or Conley, but I always pronounce things phonetically, and sorry if that's wrong. But Sean and Berserker Works, who I don't think really makes a ton of videos anymore, inspired me to get into the EVA foam crafting scene. It's definitely not for the faint of heart, but I do love me some good indestructible terrain. And lastly, my man Leif over at Devs and Dice. Honestly, this guy is one of the hardest working tabletop crafters I know. His channel focuses more on wargaming, specifically Mordheim, and his production quality and vibe is just chef's kiss. It's just great. I'm a huge fan of Leif and all that he does for the hobby, so definitely go check him out. And last but certainly not least, one of the greatest compilations of tabletop RPG knowledge, wisdom, and guidance is none other than the legendary RPG Mainframe by Hankerin Ferdinand. This is a podcast style series with so much Game Master gold in it that you're actually going to want to listen to it multiple times. Hankerin Ferdinand has quite an extensive background in game design, storytelling, art, and philosophy. Hearing his perspective on the hobby is both fascinating and well worth your time. Also, the sound and production quality of the series is phenomenal. You gotta love Mailbag Day. This podcast used to only be for his patrons, but he released it for free to the public earlier in 2023. Links to all the things I just referenced are in the video notes. And if you got a more obscure tabletop RPG related thing that I didn't mention in this video, please let me know in the comments below. I'd actually love to go check it out because I'm kind of out of things to consume right now, so like, tell me the things. Show me some new ways, if you know what I mean. Also, if you see someone comment one that you also like, please give them a thumbs up so it makes it easier for others as well as myself to find it. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. House DM, signing off. Mailbag Day, Mailbag Day. Let's go see what's in the mail today. I'm not a singer. Chowder Doc.